Jefferson County Court at Law is back in session in cause number 327014, case of State of Texas versus Darius Devon Jones. Mr. Darius Jones was previously sworn in. Mr. Darius Jones entered a plea of no contest to the Class B misdemeanor charge of failure to identify a fictitious name. Mr. Jones' attorney, Mr. Tom Burbank, waived a record in Mr. Jones' case. And Mr. Jones acknowledged that his signatures and initials was on State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. He acknowledged that his signature was on the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. He also acknowledged that his signature was on the discovery certification. The court accepted Mr. Jones' plea of no contest. The court found that he was mentally competent to stand trial. The court also found that the pleas and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. The court also found that there was sufficient evidence to find Mr. Jones guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. The court also, Mr. Burbank acknowledged that Mr. Jones, that he advised in counsel Mr. Jones that Mr. Jones was mentally competent to stand trial. Mr. Jones also acknowledged that he was a U.S. citizen and that he was satisfied with the services or the representation of his attorney, Mr. Tom Burbank, and that Mr. Burbank provided him with full, effective, and competent legal representation. State, could you please, do we have a plea bargain agreement in this case?
We do, Your Honor.
And could you state the plea bargain agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of no contest in this case, Your Honor, the state is recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 30 days. The state is asking that the court give defendant credit for the 30 days previously spent in jail, making this a time-served plea agreement, Your Honor. And the state is asking that the court use defendant's time served to both tax and retire the court costs.
And this case is running concurrent with?
Yes, Your Honor, and it's this will be running concurrent with felony case cause number 20-34840.
Okay, now, Mr. Jones, the state is offering that you serve 30 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in jail on this case because you've already served 30 days in Jefferson County Jail on this case. The court cost in this case is $387, but you will not have to pay the $387 because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. This case will also run concurrent with cause number 20-34840. Mr. Jones, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Jones, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Jones, this is the one you just did. And Mr. Jones, we will now move on to your next case. And your next case, Mr. Jones, is cause number 327016. And Mr. Jones, the state has filed an information in this case as well. And this information alleges that on or about March 13th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you will be given, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of evading arrest, detention. Mr. Jones, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
And to this charge, Mr. Jones, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Jones, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment, also labeled as State's Exhibit number 1. On page 1 of this document, there's boxes checked stating that this is a Class A misdemeanor. The range of punishment for a Class A misdemeanor is confinement in jail for a term not to exceed 1 year. a fine not to exceed $4,000 or both such fine and confinement. On page 2 of this document, there's 2 sets of initials. First set of initials, TB is your attorney's initials. Second set of initials, DJ. Next to a box says check nolo contendere, which means no contest. Mr. Jones, did you place your initials, DJ, next to Mr. Burbank's initials?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Jones, there's a signature on page 3 of this document above the line that is titled defendant. Mr. Jones, did you also sign this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Jones, on the next document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. At the bottom of this document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Mr. Jones, did you also sign this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Jones, at the top of this same document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Jones, did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled Discovery Certification?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Jones, before you signed and initialed all of these documents, did your attorney, Mr. Burbank, go over these documents with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1 and State's Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavits. Would you like to offer States 1 and 2?
Yes, Your Honor. State offers states 1 and 2.
Any
No,
objections?
No objections to 1
No.
and 2, Judge.
No objection. States Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Burbank, advising counsel, Mr. Jones, in this case, is there any evidence that he's currently mentally competent to stand trial?
I have, Your Honor, and no, there is no evidence.
And Mr. Jones, your attorney, Mr. Burbank, has advised and counsels you in this case as well. Are you satisfied with his services in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has he provided fully effective and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of no contest in this case, the state is recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 30 days, Your Honor. The state is asking that the court give defendant credit for the 30 days previously spent in jail, making this a time-served plea agreement, Your Honor. The state is asking that the court use defendant's time served to both tax and retire the court costs, and this will run concurrently with defendant's felony case, cause number 20-34840.
They got this mystery concurrent on here. Okay, Mr. Jones, the state is offering that you serve 30 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for 30 days that you already served. Therefore, you will not have to serve any more time in Jefferson County Jail because you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $387, but you would not have to pay the $387 because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Mr. Jones, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Jones, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Jones, this will conclude your cases. You can knock on that door and follow the bailiff. And you have a blessed day.
Thank you. You have a good day.
This was his other case, huh? Both of them have the same running concurrent, right? Next case is Carrington Scott. Okay, just hold on a minute. Let's see. Jefferson County Court at Law is now in session in cause number 333030. The case is styled as State of Texas versus Carrington Scott. Mr. Scott, is it Carrington Cyrus Scott?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Scott, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Scott, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Scott, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Scott, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Scott?
I'm doing pretty well, sir. You?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Scott, I have before me a document that is, well, Mr. Burbank, do you waive a record in Mr. Scott's case?
We do, Your Honor.
Mr. Scott, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information alleges that on or about August 2nd of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of assault family violence. Mr. Scott, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Scott, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, sir.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Scott, I have before me a document that is titled Discovery Admonishment or Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. On page 2 of this document, there are two sets of initials. One set of initials is your attorney initials, Attorney Tom Burbank. The other set of initials is KS. And those two sets of initials are on a line next to a box that's checked no contingent, which means no contest. Mr. Scott, did you place your initials KS next to your attorney's initials?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Scott, on the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Mr. Scott, did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir.
On the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this same document, there are two boxes that are checked. The first box says check states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box says check states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Scott, did you also sign a document out there on paper that's titled Discovery Certification?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Scott, before you sign and initial all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Burbank, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything that he went over?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Scott, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment, and State's Exhibit number 2, and the probable cause affidavit, which is in the court's file. State, you like to offer States 1 and 2?
Yes, Your Honor. State offers States 1 and 2.
No
Any
objections to
objections?
states, no objections to states 1 and 2, Judge.
No objection, States Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Burbank, you've advised and counseled Mr. Scott. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Scott, your attorney, Mr. Burbank, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Scott, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Do we have an affidavit of injury? And Mr. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of no contest in this case, the state is recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 75 days, Your Honor. The state is asking that the court give defendant credit for any time to which he is entitled by law.
Okay, Mr. Scott, the state is offering that you serve 75 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for any time that you're entitled to get by law. The court cost in this case, Mr. Scott, is $327. Mr. Scott, will you be able to pay the $327 court cost?
No, sir.
Huh?
No, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Burbank, pursuant to Article 1.24 Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, all proceedings and trials shall be public. However, pursuant to the case of Lilly versus State, 365 Southwest 3rd, 321, the right to a public trial is not absolute and may be outweighed by other competing interests, such as interest in security, such as the non-disclosure of public information, and preventing this, and ensuring that the defendant receives a fair trial. Defense, are you questioning that this portion of the hearing be closed to the public?
No, Your Honor.
To prevent the disclosure of non-public information?
No, Your Honor. He's not going to disclose any identifying information. Should be from the court's questioning.
Okay, now, Mr. Scott, do you receive any type of governmental benefits such
No,
as
sir.
Medicaid? Okay, SSI,
No, sir.
SNAP,
No, sir.
TANF?
No, sir.
Do you live in public housing?
No, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Scott, do you have any income?
No, sir. Not right now. I'm incarcerated.
Okay, and do you receive any type of do you have any assets? For example, do you own a car
No, sir.
or do you own a home?
No, sir.
Okay. And as far as expenses, do you have to pay a rent or mortgage?
No, sir.
Any utility bills?
No, sir.
Are you required to pay child support?
Yes, sir.
And how much is that?
I haven't been paying lately, but it was like $305 a month.
305, okay. What about food expenses?
No, sir.
Okay, no transportation costs,
No, sir.
no cell phones,
No, sir.
and no probation fees,
No, sir.
no medical expenses or health insurance,
No, sir.
no credit card expenses.
No, sir.
Okay, Mr. Scott, the court is going to find that you are indigent. Based on that finding of indigence, the court is going to waive the court costs of $327. That's in this case pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Now, Mr. Scott, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Scott, I will follow the plea bargain agreement that you've entered into the state with the findings that the court previously stated. Mr. Scott, this will conclude your case. Please knock on the door, follow the bailiff, and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Burbank, is this your last case?
I'm still looking for breakfast, Judge. Yes, it is, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, Mr. Burbank, you're free to go. You may be excused and you're free to go. You have a blessed day.